Good morning.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Hey, I just wanted to check, make sure I'm not in the wrong class. I didn't see your name on the, it says Alberto. Is that, what's your full name?
Adalberto Reyes.
Right. Okay. I see what I did. No worries. Just had the wrong roll call pulled up. I just want to make sure where I was at. So, all right. We'll get
Okay.
started here in a little bit. Hopefully some other people will show up.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks. Hello, Sadie Pook. All right, I guess we'll go ahead and get going. If anybody else joins us, it's great. Seems like these morning classes, I guess a lot of you guys are out flying and on schedule. So there seem to be a lot less people, but I know the nighttime classes, you can always jump in on that one too. It's the same class.
Okay,
So anyway, we're going to go over just a review and then we're going to do the simulator work after that. And because it's just you will be hard pressed to get an hour out of this. So because otherwise I got to take turns with the other students. So this will be good for you and good for me, I guess. So anyway, let's do a quick review. Some of the stuff you guys went through. This little slide shows a little there's a better sheet we'll go to finish the review. But anyway, this is, if I can get it to work there. What we're going to do in just a minute is review the communication resources from class 1 through 4. We'll just go over a few of the phrases, like I must do this. I should, I would like to do this, different things like that. It's class 1, the word could you give us this? Could you tell this? Permissions, the actions. Well, there's a better sheet on this, like I said, on all this. We'll get a few more things about this in a second. Do you think you could, or do you think we could? That's asking something that's not mandatory. Just remember, if you ask like that, if you need to be assertive and you say, I need this operationally, I must have this runway, would be a way the controller would understand that it's not just a preference, it's something you really need. So it's kind of weak to say, you think that we could, sometimes it says yes, sometimes no. Most of the time, especially if it's going against what they call conforming traffic, like everybody's going to this runway and you ask, could I have this runway? They're probably going to say no.
Okay.
But if you really need it for operational, if you go ahead and let them know, says, hey, we've got to have this for performance. That's another word you can use and they'll understand. Back from class 3, instead of, say this arrival, can I have this arrival for weather? Something like that. This is a little stronger. Or request, something when able, like request direct the VOR when able. This is a little stronger back from class 3. And class 4, they got into the more high certainty stuff, which we touched on a second ago. I must. There must be a vector in the next 5 miles for weather, or I'll have to divert. Sometimes you're the pilot in command. If a controller gives you something and you're looking out at your radar or your the window and see huge buildups, it says no, we cannot accept that. You got to tell them no, because sometimes it comes down to safety. Oops, I didn't mean to push that button. Let me go back one. There we go. But you got sometimes the controller doesn't understand, or maybe occasionally a controller puts himself in a box to where he puts you in this place. If you turn, he's going to lose separation with another aircraft, but it's down to safety. If you got to turn, you got to turn. And then that's when the TCAS is going to take over and everything's going to be okay. But TCAS is a great thing. But sometimes you have to be assertive. Most of the time, the controller, you guys are trying to work as a team. Sometimes it doesn't seem that way for you, but if everybody kind of works together, it makes everything go smoothly. And though it means maybe everybody gets a little delay, as opposed to like one person getting a really big delay. They try to get a flow in, so everything can work. All right, this thing was really short, so let me go back into the other sheet I had. If you give me just a second. Let's see. Yeah, this is the one I wanted to use. Let me open that with the docs. Where did that go? Sorry, don't usually always use this computer. There we go. All right. This is back to something which I thought was just a little bit better for the review before we go to the simulator, because the simulation's only what they're planning to do on that. Just did you guys get to use the simulator yet? As far as the kind of goofy little simulation that we do for this, like right here. Have you when you see this screen, the Houston, which says Houston Hobby?
Okay.
Okay. Well, this will give us something to do. We can teach you how to work this thing. So we're only going to have one airplane, so you're going to end up being flight 321. But anyway, let's go back over this real quick. So uh, the class 1 was request. Could we do this? Could we do that? Class 2 was a little bit more into when able. Just I know you guys are. I hate to go over this so much, but you guys are professional pilots in an Airbus. This is a much more experienced class than we normally get. So if you got questions about other stuff, we can just talk about anything. I worked out of Nashville and worked out of Jacksonville Center. So I could maybe ask some questions if you think about something that comes up that you're like, why are they doing this to me when I'm actually, when you're really flying? But anyway, let's go over these points real quick and I'll let you ask questions afterwards. When able, if able, that's great. That's just like, hey, I need to deviate around this when able somewhere. I mean, that's a great tool. Everybody likes that. It keeps everything safe. Indirect speech, I don't even know why they call it that, but it says, do you think we could? Is it possibly we could do this? Also not very strong. It's like, it's like asking a favor for a shortcut. It's nothing you have to have. And then this one here, they call them, I don't even know what that word means. Model. I don't know what that means. Could, may, must. Must is the big one. Could is used to express speculation. Must or mandatory or I need it for performance. And then of course the big word is unable. I'm unable to accept that.
Okay.
So no worries. Here's a few examples. Could you tell us when the airport's expected to reopen? Could we hold here to finish a checklist? Man, I would think that says say we need to hold somewhere. If you're not going to get your checklist done, you're going to end up going around on short final. So if you're really that behind, you need to go ahead and tell them.
Okay.
Could you please verify the ILS frequency is working properly? That's fine. So this is, ask for a diversion. This is, where he doesn't say the word could. It says, there's weather LAX requesting, probably he'd say radar vectors to San Diego instead, or he'd say something, what he'd really say is like, I think he would say, we'd like to change our destination to San Diego because of weather at LA. So that's what, divert. That's a better word right there. When able direct, we talked about that. I don't think you would ever say that phrase. We're going to Dallas rather than DFW. I don't know if that would ever happen. If able, we're going to request this altitude at 17,000. You'd probably give them a better reason than that. So, hey, we're getting bumped around, or so we're getting some pretty good bumps at, let's say, flight level 19 or 0. Can we try 17,000? That's something like you might say. Which I got ahead of myself. There it is. Do you think we could get lower? Do you think we can get higher? Like this happens okay. I know this happens to people all the time, especially if you're flying for American. American's never ready, it seems like. You think you could give us a couple extra minutes before we have to line up and wait? We're checking on something that's that you've gotten behind an American and they don't have their numbers. They drive me crazy. Those guys do. I don't see how that airline makes money. So this is proceed direct Duval and says, do you think we can increase our speed a little bit? I've never had anybody say that, but we'd request, just say I'd request something faster. I said, I can't maintain this slow speed, or could we do something else? Do you think that we could advise the gate manager we're able to park any spots available? Most of the time you guys are working that out with your ops. What all airports do you fly into in the U.S.?
Actually, I have only like half year and a half in this company, and I haven't gone to into US.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I can maybe answer some questions for you. The last couple people I've had knew more than I did. They've been flying into the U.S. for a while.
Yes.
So cool. All right. We may need to divert. usually you're like holding for weather when you might say something like this. Say the field. I think what you guys are probably what about need about 1,800 feet on the RVR to land, something like that. I don't know how far, if you're rated for that or not. But sometimes you say if the weather doesn't, I need at least 1,800 to start the approach. Have you used that before for RVRs?
Yeah, it's a couple of times I did.
Right. So you let the controller know, and he's going to try to get you in there, and that way you tell him what RVR you need, and he'll know, and he can watch the RVR. Says, hey, maybe a big old Airbus, or maybe like a 747 or something, or a 757 landed, and it blew the fog off a little bit. Then he'll try to get you in there before it closes back down. That actually does work. The plane will the hot exhaust will blow some of the fog away for about five minutes. And so you'll try to get them in quick. Other ways, you might find bad weather. There might be bad weather en route. This is like cockpit conversation. After the lightning strike at the tower, they must be a lot of trouble. Yeah, sometimes they're pretty well insulated in those towers, but sometimes I've had big lightning strikes where we lost a lot of stuff. We almost never lost all the radios because we have plenty of backups. We just, even ones that are in a drawer, like a really big strong portable. They can, it's not plugged into anything, and they'll plug it into the antenna unless it melted or something.
Yes.
So, but it's never happened for me over a long time. So we can't get the ILS. We think there must be something wrong with it. Can you check? What you usually ask says, hey, we're not receiving the ILS. You have to say, did the previous plane get it? Because lots of times, sometimes the aircraft's ILS will be, well, let's be honest, sometimes you type in the wrong frequency on it. We're not picking it up. That's what happens a lot. Maybe they call it fat fingers. Your fingers were fat and they pushed in the wrong number. So it couldn't, like for animals, it couldn't possibly be a deer. I don't know. It could be a deer. So we'll move on. Requests. We'll do a couple of requests. I need to ask them what the IPA means. I don't know what that means.
I think it's information. I know that was the 8. APA, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I
thought
it was the 8, but no, it's not.
I usually teach a lot of the VFR classes, which this is a little more complex here. So could we do this instead, or we're requesting direct somewhere when able? You can always ask. The answer is always no unless you ask. But also you can kind of listen to the frequency, and if the controller is super busy, you can't get in a word edgewise, it's probably not time to ask for a shortcut or direct, because you guys, I'm sure you've heard that, and there's certain times when, especially if weather, unless you can ask, I need to go around weather, but it's not time to tie up the frequency with a lot of words. Sometimes the controller just gets too busy to help much.
Right.
Let's see. Indirect speech with could says, do you think you could? Do you think we could? Yes, that's perfectly valid. You might use that. Call them modal verbs. I'll have to look that word up sometime. Could, may, must, might. Remember that could is speculation. May is kind of asking permission. Might is also about the same as could. Might we go here? But must is the one that you got to save it when you need it. So, all right. Prompts for the USIM scenario. Okay, this is more stuff for me. I just thought this was better than the previous sheet for us to go over.
Okay.
This is like class notes for me, so that's why I was just kind of sharing them with you. Let's see what else we got here. All right, it's the same thing, basically, you know. This is a little bit different set of notes. I was going to go over this too. Same at the beginning, but we've pretty much went over this. We'll just move on. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to be departing off of Houston Airport, and we're going to come out, which it's the Industry 5 departure. I know these departures are way out of date, but it's what we're going to do is planned as you depart out for probably, I'm going to turn my head sideways, probably maybe Vectors to Shiner, something like that. We'll it's not that big a deal. This is, you know, obviously we're just playing here. And then this one, that's more instructions. Okay, here we go. We'll do for the departure at Houston. There we go. I was going to put this in the chat box in case you got to refer back to it. So you'll have the ATIS.
Okay.
Anyway, looks like it's not an exact ATIS, but looks like we're going to be departing off of runway 4. We'll just show that's all in use. There's a couple taxiway closures. I'm probably not going to pay a whole lot of attention to that. We're going to San Antonio. So we're going to request going to call me with a request for the San Antonio airport. And this is going to be your flight plan. I can get this thing to, I don't know why it's doing that way. There it goes. Sorry, I'm having a little trouble with this thing. And this will be the flight plan that your company has filed. Right there, going from Houston via the Industry 5 departure, and Shiner, San Antonio. It's only going to be 6,000 feet because these are, I know it's not super realistic, but actually these airports are really close together. You wouldn't go much higher, maybe 10 or 11. So runway 4 departure is what we're going to do. So let's work on this real quick. This is going to be you, and we're going to come off of runway 4. I have to give you the link for the connection. Oops, that's better. Give me just a second. Actually, there you are. All right. I'm going to send you a link.
Okay.
And this will get you started towards that. The next thing to do, let's see here. It's going to be external control number 2. Let me write that in for you. It's going to be external control 2. You're going to be aircraft number 1. And you got to do the, make sure you do the space and the capital letters. So in this case, it's going to be your call sign, space, and 321.
Okay. Let me check.
So see how that goes. I don't know if you've done this part before. This can be a little antique, this little video thing. It's, again, can be a little bit difficult to get running sometimes.
Okay, just let me check. The session is number 4, right?
Session number 2 is what I think I sent. Hold on. Yeah, session is actually 2. So I'm sorry, session 2 instead of external control 2. It says session on your side. Yeah.
Perfect. Let me check. for a second.
Just when you think the test to see if you get control, try to change the altitude back to say 40 feet because the field elevation is 42 feet.
I'm not in control yet. I
Okay.
cannot enter. Let me try again.
I'm going to try something real quick first before you do that. I'm going to disconnect and reconnect.
Okay,
And
perfect.
now you try again.
Okay.
And we do have trouble with this system sometimes. It's not as easy as it should be.
Yes, that's right. Okay, now I'm connected.
Okay. Yep. That was probably on me that time. All right. What we're going to do is if you change the altitude box to instead of 4,000 to 40.
40, check.
So we'll start. There you go. You got control. Awesome. And it'll take a second for this thing to get back down. Let me and probably put the speed down to 0 just for a second, and then I can fast move it a little bit.
Okay.
It was 120 is a little fast to be taxiing.
Yes.
Yeah, because if I move it forward, it just jumps. All right, let's move it forward some, try to get the speed down. Now the speed's not coming. We'll just ignore the altitude right now. That's the easiest thing to do. All right, what we're going to do, and how do you pronounce your call sign?
I think it's iron lasses. 3 to 1 iron lasses.
The Irolassus or
Yes,
Biolassus?
something like iron lasses, but sometimes I believe because I have never entered with that call sign
Right.
in the US. But I think if the controller is experimenting some kind of issue with iron lasses, they must use Victor India Victor.
Okay. Yeah, that we do a lot of that, and it's usually because maybe you guys are more charter sometimes where we're not used to yet. And yeah, okay. So I may just say Victor India Victor because I don't know if I can pronounce the other one easily. It may just be because I'm my Spanish is terrible. I mean,
That's right.
muy poquito español. So let's start with that. We're going to go back to. You can just call me for the clearance. Let's see, you've already got the ATIS. We're planning runway 4. Let me try to find your. That's the flight plan you're looking for right there. I'll just resend it, make it easy. All right, so you can call me as Houston ground or clearance or whatever, and let me get my script up here. You can't see that part, but.
Okay.
So you can just call me Houston ground. I'm requesting
Okay.
IFR to San Antonio.
Okay, perfect. So Houston ground, this is Victor India Victor 321, information Victor on board. And we are ready to copy San Antonio 6000.
Victor India Victor 321 our Secretary ground. Oh, sorry, I'm Houston ground. Cleared to the San Antonio airport via the Industry 5 departure. Expect radar vectors to Shiner, then Industry 085 radial Industry as filed. Climb and maintain 5,000. Expect 6,010 minutes after departure. Departure frequency will be a 123.7 and squawk 2345.
Roger that, we are clear to San Antonio Airport via Industry 5 departure, Shiner Industry, 10 asphalt. Ascend and maintain 5,000, expect 6,000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 123.7, squawk 2345.
Victor India Victor 321, read back correct. You can contact ground on 119.2 when ready and expect runway 4 for departure.
Roger that, runway 4, 119.2. Thank you, good day. Victor India Victor 321.
Good day. Okay, before we go into that, they had a couple little things here. I'm gonna just go through this. You know, like if you needed another runway at this point, say maybe the winds weren't agreeing with you, you might you could say, could we have runway 31 left for departure? Say if you needed it for performance, for winds or something. Right, but if it was mandatory, how would you put that? Let's say we can't accept runway 4 for performance. How would you ask them if you needed runway 31 left? Sorry, 31 left.
So I can say something or like, let me think about for a second.
Yeah, sure.
So I can say something like, we are unable to depart runway 4, request runway 31 left instead.
Right, and you would say for operational purposes, or
yeah, at that point I have to give a reason, or you are expecting a reason, right?
Okay. Yeah, or you could say, just conversationally, sometimes we'll say we're too heavy for runway 4, or we can't accept the crosswind. Say like they maybe the my little drawing thing up here. Where's it?
Okay.
Say say the winds are like 10 knots, coming down this way, and they're trying to get you to take off this way.
Okay.
And, because controllers don't understand crosswinds as much as pilots. I mean, I was a private pilot back in college. I don't do it anymore, but crosswinds are no fun. Even in a big plane, what you're flying, the little plane.
Yes, that's right.
They're
changed a lot,
really
the performance and
right.
center line of the runway.
Right, and just you got to let them know, because we don't have charts, especially because like for each plane, it's going to be a different amount of wind, and it varies. As you know, it varies from how much what your weight is, how much fuel you're carrying. Different things can vary the amount of crosswinds you can take. So
yes.
So we you got to tell us. We just don't know.
Got it. All right.
Okay, but anyway, we're not going to do that. There's like a little thing here I thought I'd bring up real quick. So in a case like that, you wouldn't say, "Do you think we could have this runway?" Is it possible to have that? No, that's no good. You're going to say you got to say what you want, and sometimes like the biggest thing. Stop doing that. In air traffic is they can't opposite direction. It's almost impossible not impossible. It can take a really long time to get an opposite direction departure if you need it for performance because of our rules. Because we end up with say you need to depart this runway, and so we got to make about a 20-mile gap if everybody was landing this runway. So we got to make about room for 20 miles to get you out of here, get you an immediate takeoff, and get you turned away from the final where they're coming in.
Okay.
So we have really strict rules about that. So because of some scary incidents. So
yeah, it must be right.
Yeah, where this guy didn't roll like he should have, and the guy coming inbound went Nordo. His radio quit working. So
Cheers.
This guy's on the roll and they can't talk to this guy. And,
Okay.
then they end up being, just not, it wasn't pretty. So, you know, so it was fun. This funny story about that when that happened was there's like 3 or 4 different incidents over about 2 or 3 years, like similar to that, and every time it was one of our supervisors working because they don't get much time. They're normally just
Wow.
monitoring, and so they're rusty. I don't know if that's word translates well to you, but they were out of practice. And they made poor choices, and you're up there, and they put a controller in charge temporary as the supervisor, and so the controller is it'd be like you if you're in the cockpit and the chief pilot for the company isn't in the other seat and he's doing something wrong. It's really hard to tell them they're doing
Yeah.
something wrong,
Of,
but
yeah. It's
you've
the
got
boss.
you've got to, you may lose your job, but you may have to say, hey, I don't know if that's right. so
Yes.
so that's what happened with all that. Anyway, that's you know like I said, we can talk about anything in here. Really, we got time. So and I tend to tell a lot of stories if we're not careful. Let's clear this. Oh, there we go. Anyway, we're going to taxi out for 4. So you just call me at, let me blow this up where it's easier for everybody to see.
Okay.
Is that a little better? The airplane a little smaller. It seems awful big. All right. Looks like you're, trying to see how this taxi structure works. I don't work at, I've had to learn more about, from your side about the taxiways and how stuff works that I ever thought I would have to. We're going to plan come out here at the south exit at Hotel 1 for a hotel for runway 4. So you can just call me as a hobby ground. That's what they go by, I think, not Houston ground because Houston International is real close. So this is hobby ground.
Hobby ground. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, hobby ground. Good morning. This is our last 321. We're ready to taxi.
LS is 321 hobby ground. Report number 1 at Hotel 1. Expect runway 4, ramps uncontrolled.
Now,
So
say again, please. Our last Victor India Victor 321.
LS is 321, Roger. Report number 1 at Hotel 1. That's Hotel 1 right there. The ramp is uncontrolled. We'll talk about that just for a second before you read me back. Most of the time, at least in the U.S., what you would have, let me get my little pin out again. You'd probably have a ramp tower.
Okay.
I don't know if Houston Hobby does or not. I just don't know. But you would call the ramp tower, and he would get you to this spot, this spot, this spot, and probably this spot because you could go
Okay.
either way
Right.
there. But so what I did is, in case it's uncontrolled, the controller would like say, maybe you're like, say you're this guy over here. He can't even, the control tower probably can't even see this guy. He'll say something like, you're not in sight, report number 1 at Hotel 1. So there's Hotel 1.
Okay, got it. I
So
have never been in a situation like that, so this is new for me. So when a controller said report number 1, we should taxi
right.
on,
In this
until.
case, this is an uncontrolled ramp.
Okay, got it.
Because I know your company flies into Nashville, and I know we have an uncontrolled ramp because we can't see. Uh,
Okay.
we can see, like, I don't know if they have the tower listed here. Let me look real quick. They don't have the tower depicted here that I can see super easily. But in the, like, I'll just give an example of how Nashville is because that's what I know the best. So I worked there for 20 years. Nashville, the tower is about all the way over here.
Okay.
And so, you know, and you got, this is a terminal, so you got planes parked, or I can just actually grab these guys, I think. Yeah, you got planes parked here, planes parked here. You got a big building. We can't even see their tail fins.
Okay.
So they're, you know, invisible to us. And so what they do, if they don't have a ramp tower, Nashville actually, it looks like they have a ramp tower, but it's closed. It's not open anymore because nobody wants to pay for it.
Okay.
But there's always something goofy like that. But what they'll do is controller would just say report number 1 at hotel 1 ramp uncontrolled, which that's a heads up to you is that you're kind of in the danger zone. You know, another plane might just back up right into you, and they'll push back. A plane might cut you off.
Okay, got it. And
So
pilot, how report number 1? I mean, we should report like Victor India Victor 321, hold short of Hotel 1 or something like that.
you probably would say Roger will report number 1, spot 1, expecting runway 4, or something like that, or just you could just say Roger will report. You could just say that Roger will report.
Okay.
And you know, even if you get confused and you reported, say like the wrong one, hey, we're at Bravo holding short. You're like, and they go, oh well, crap! I told you hotel, but we'll take you all the way over this way, and he'd bring you down this way. But you got closures here, so let's not do that.
Okay, got it.
So just what you would do is probably put in about a 220, maybe a 230 hit on the heading, and I can speed it up a little bit once you get the plane headed down this way. I'll start you that way. Because you're going to want to come down this way. So you may have lost control. Sometimes this thing will dump control as well. So see if you can type in the heading as 230 instead of 80.
Okay, let me check. Okay.
All right, perfect. All right, I'm going to speed it up a little bit, and so it doesn't take forever. There you go. And you could just call me coming up on Hotel 1.
Okay. And this must be Hobby Ground, right?
Yeah, Hobby Ground.
Hobby Ground, enlaces 321, Hotel 1.
Airlines is 321, Hobby Ground, Roger. Taxi via hotel, hold short of runway 13 left.
Roger that, taxi via hotel, hold short of runway 13 left. 13 left, okay.
All right, we'll move you along so we won't be here all day.
Okay.
Oh, it's just one of you. You know, it's silly to sit there and watch it move. Normally, I'd be like telling all the other students, you know, things to do. So controllers, if you don't have any traffic, you'll go Airlines 321, cross runway 13 left, hold short runway 13 right.
Roger that, cross runway 13 left, hold short of runway 13 right.
Right, and just a little something on the side since we have so much time. Most control towers, there's a rule we have where we can only cross one I can't say the words. I'm trying one runway at a time. I tried to say one way, but one runway at a time. And so we got to wait until you cross this one before we tell you to cross the next one. But there are some of the busier airports, they have like a waiver to the rule, you know, or an exception. I don't, you know, so you probably occasionally be cleared across 2 runways at the same time. But
okay, right.
You will not be at Nashville, at least not a year ago when I retired. So wait till you clear. Sometimes, you know, that they're busy, you might have to stop, but they try to keep you rolling. So there's a Airlines 321, continue taxi, cross runway 13 right, hold short runway 17.
Roger that, cross runway 13 right, hold short of runway 17, enlaces Viva 3231. 321.
Sometimes they call you Viva.
Yeah, I
Okay?
think so.
Yeah, there's no telling what a controller is going to make up, and sometimes it sticks. I know it's not your official one, but he would get you across there and he'd say, air last is 321, cross runway 17, continue taxi runway 4, contact tower 119.7.
Roger that, cross runway 17, continue with taxi to runway 4, contact 119.7. Good day.
So he gets you over here. So you got a speed bump right there. Look at that. I don't know what that is. Some of these charts are old. So at this point, you would just, if we're doing a real simulation with lots of people, you just put your speed back to 0 or whatever, but I'll just pause it so you don't have to bother. And you're going to call me ready for taxi. Just to go back over, well, we'll just get airborne and then we'll pause it again and I'll show you the departure procedure. So go ahead and call me as the Hobby Tower and ready for takeoff.
Okay. Hobby Tower, Viva 321. We are ready. Hold short of runway 4. We're ready for takeoff.
Viva 321, Hobby Tower, Roger. Line up and wait, runway 4, traffic crossing downfield.
Roger that, line up and wait, runway 4, Viva 321.
And if you'd go ahead and type in the heading 040.
Okay.
I'll just put you in position because otherwise, I mean, you can see how to work this thing. Otherwise it just takes a while.
Yes.
So get the heading typed in. There we go. It should just sit there. You can slow move it. That's fine. I'm not going to worry about that. We'll get our traffic cross. Viva 321, fly runway heading, runway 4, clear for takeoff.
Fly runway heading, runway 4, clear for takeoff, Viva 321.
And now you can just work the simulation. Type in like a realistic speed.
Okay.
For takeoff. And you can start getting altitude. The initial altitude assigned was 5,000, as I remember.
Yes.
So, you got it. I was trying to remember. So, anyway, we'll do this. We'll speed it back up a little bit and get out of here. That's a good climb rate. Look at that. It's not a very good simulator. We had a place I worked at years ago, Knoxville, Tennessee. We had the UPS, the United Parcel Service, was close by, and they would use us for practices on the weekends because we weren't very busy. So we're mainly a military base, and the military didn't really fly on the weekends.
Okay.
And they'd send down planes, empty cargo planes, to do practices, and those guys would almost climb like that. They would just incredible. They were, because they didn't have to worry about breaking anything or passengers, and the plane was completely empty. Just an empty cargo shell in the back. So the best one we ever had was they did some conversions. Do you know what a DC-8 is? It's a very old plane. It's
no, I'm not here.
It's a 4-engine. It's kind of like they had 707s in Boeing. Anyway, it's a big 4-engine plane. It's a heavy jet, but it's kind of narrow bodied. Well, they put modern GE turbofans on all 4 stalks to see, if the thing would be, so they could keep using them. And the thing, they literally crossed the numbers of the runway at climbing out of 4,500. He just, he just set it on its tail and it would climb on the engines because it was so overpowered. So when they were testing it out. Anyway, let's go to the next. I got to look up something. Yeah, we don't need that. We've already been over that stuff. Let's see. I can't quite stop sharing real quick. Okay. I just have to look at which part of the simulation to load. Sorry, the wouldn't work for me for a second there. Okay, Industry 5, Mode B. All right, we got it now. All right. So this is where we're going to work going around a little weather.
Okay.
I'm just going to remove some of this stuff. All right. So you're going to call departure, and I'm going to give you a vector to Shiner, and then the weather is going to change as you get closer to it. So get the speeds back down to something realistic. So I'm going to be Houston departure, because they're actually, I think it is under Houston departure. So,
Okay.
all right. We're moving. All right, go ahead.
Okay, Houston departure, good morning. Viva 321, runway heading,
Oops.
climbing 4,000 to 5,000.
Viva 321, Houston departure, roger, radar contact. Turn left, heading of 275. When able, direct Shiner. Climb and maintain 6,000.
Roger that. Turning left, heading 275, climb maintain 6,000. When able, direct Shiner. Viva 321. So heading 275, 6,000. Check. 250.
All right, we'll get you headed that way. I'll just drag it a little.
Okay.
So heading on this way. Oops. Sorry, it's gonna make everybody nauseous. Get you out in between. And this is like the thing they want us to practice on here. I thought one of the requests was pretty okay. Where
Okay.
you, instead of this, can we do that? So,
Okay.
so what we're probably playing is, we've got a thunderstorm moving up on here to where Shiner and Bach, which that's the name of a beer, by the way. It's famous in Texas. Texas, it's called Shiner Bach, is a kind of beer. So they named it for that. And there's a town, Shiner, roughly out that way. So you see you got buildups and stuff here. So let's say, man, I do not want to go to Shiner, and I sure don't want to go beyond Shiner on this heading, trying to get out of here.
Okay, got it. So I can say something like Viva 321, unable Shiner. Do you think it's possible vector to avoid weather instead?
Viva 321 affirmative. Would you like direct Navasota and then direct to Junction? That's
Roger that.
actually, I probably would have said, and then direct to Industry, because there's Industry right there.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Passes 321, clear Navasota, and when able, direct Industry.
Right. And you'd probably say something like, yeah, we can accept that. And so then the controller would come back. Roger. Viva 321, you re-clear direct Navasota, direct Industry, and then as filed.
Roger that, clear direct Navasota, then direct Industry, and then as filed, Viva 321.
Right. Or another thing that what the controller might do in this case is Viva 321, turn 20 degrees right, and when able, direct Industry. So he might just leave that part out. He probably would. Just go to vectors. So you type in say 285 if it's going to be enough for you, and then when you come back, so we're 295, something like that. You're going to cruise like this, and sort of the important thing to remember is when you're able, you would say, come back to the controller and say, Viva 321, we're now direct Industry.
Direct Industry. Okay.
Yeah. So just let him know when you can make the turn again.
Okay, perfect.
So, all right. So we got that little thing done. Let's see what this one says. For some reason, I can't expand these right now to make them. Oh, there we go. There's a. Oh, that didn't work. Sometimes this thing loads and it's just absolutely flaky, and I can't make them bigger right now. I can make them huge, or you're supposed to be able to grab that. Oh, there it goes. All right.
Okay.
So sorry.
No, it's
That's just me speculating. Why is this doing this again? Okay. So like we could, do you think we could do this? Hey, there's weather ahead. We can't accept that. Can we go to the right? Can we have vectors to pass south of it? Can we have vectors to pass north of it? Stuff like that.
right.
Uh, and if the controller says unable, I can't give you a turn right now, and so we'll just do this. We'll move it back out again. And you say, uh, Houston Center, we're going to need a turn within 10 miles. It says we have to have a turn within 10 miles for weather. You tell them, yeah, I'm sorry you say I can't turn. I'm letting you know I'm turning soon. So, you just say we're unable to continue on this heading, deviating south around weather.
Right.
And that's
Okay.
not gonna happen too much. Most of the time, it's going to be like a team function. But if it comes down to you putting yourself in weather that's not a good safety margin, you got to just say sorry. The controller. I'm going to have to come off your vectors and deal with the repercussions later because there's really not going to be any. The controller will. I mean, his when it came down to it, you could see the controller was in the wrong because they make mistakes all the time. Anyway, we'll get you going direct. So now you're direct. So you would tell me something like, go ahead.
Okay. Viva 321 now direct industry.
Viva 321, Roger. When able, you can proceed direct to Marcus and pilot's discretion descent maintain 3000.
Roger that. When able, we are clear to direct Marcus and as pilot discretion descend and maintain 3000. Viva 321.
Viva 321, contact San Antonio approach on 127.35.
127.35. Good day, Viva 321.
So you can see it's just a short little hop. This is not very far
Yes.
at all.
Yeah, it's really close to San Antonio to Hobby to San Antonio.
Right. So you check
Okay.
on, let's just pause it just for a second, just to get some more stuff to do. I got to
How much time do you think it's a real flight between Hobby to San Antonio?
I know.
Probably 15 minutes.
Well, you always spend a little more because you have to go up for vectors and like to get into the trail. Probably the final.
Okay.
But probably not much more than 20 or 25 on a regular day.
Okay.
So I
Got it.
know it's driving. It's about 180 miles ish.
Yeah, it's really close.
Yeah, it's really close. So
But
this is
it's really close, but both are really busy, isn't
right,
it?
right. So what would probably happen? This simulation is not the most realistic in the world. I'm not going to lie. But depending, you're going to come in this way. San Antonio, the first thing they're going to do is let's go look at some of the maps real quick. I got to minus this down every time for some reason. Let me adjust this toolbar. Here, we just get rid of that. I'll leave the toolbar up all the time. That'll work better. Houston. Sorry, I'm a little bit disorganized. Well, I saw the San Antonio ATIS a minute ago. Oh, there we go. So it's ATIS X-ray at San Antonio. Looks like we're supposed to be runway 12 right is what we're going to plan. So, and lots of times they'll especially going into a busy airport, they'll give you runway 12 right, runway 12 left in use. So you don't even know which one you're going to get until you talk to the approach control. So there's the ATIS in the chat box. It's no big deal. We'll just move on without that. And we're going to come in.
Oops, I'm sorry. Someone is knocking my door. I'll be back
Okay.
in 5 minutes, please.
No problem.
Thank you. All right, thank you. I'm back.
You know, I talked a lot and I was on mute, so I didn't help at all. So so you're not answering my questions. That's weird.
No, that happened to me the last class.
So I thought you were going to be gone longer. I was saying something to the dog, so I thought they didn't want to hear that. But this is going to be a real quick hop. You're going to have the weather. San Antonio. Let's go ahead and call up. We'll go ahead and act like we're on approach. The next. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm on another screen, making sure I get the right map up. There it is. Scenario C. This is a whole bunch of boxes we kind of don't need. I don't want that. Let's see. There you are. I'm going to change this a little bit. Oops. All right. Here we're coming in. We're we said for I got your localizer frequency up for that coming in. It's like you're coming over, looks like Alamo. But this is going to be your final box. It's the way you're going to be entering because you're coming in from here. And how it would probably work if they're active on this runway is they're feeding to a midfield base, and then they're going to start on a final.
Okay, right.
Right. So these guys, you know, they'll be moving around with you. They got to feed you into a final. Like sometimes even if it was, you didn't have, they got weather over here right now. Sometimes they'll even take you overhead and put you on a reverse final. Super busy at an airport like that. Another thing they call a double downwind. You might see that occasionally where you turn early.
Okay.
If the final's super busy and you got to come back down and then turn this way and then join the final because things can go crazy from time to time, especially at some of the airports that like grow suddenly. We were doing a lot of the double downwinds at Nashville because we grew so suddenly because Nashville's like a boom town. There's a lot of people moving there and the airport wasn't ready. So
Okay, got it.
these things happen. I know like in Texas, there's Austin is a town in Texas and it's grown just about as fast. I mean, there's different, you know, where was a small town and it's trying to become a big town and the airport's still a small town. So we'll be coming in here. So I got to change your call sign again. I don't know why it automatically does it. There we go. But so we'll do this, and you'd be being fed like this, and you got to remember that get rid of this airplane. I'm just gonna get, these are confusing things. The controllers don't see buildups unless there's precipitation coming out of the bottom. Our radar does not work. You know, like your radar doesn't really show it's the puffy clouds with no rain.
Okay.
So controllers giving you that same vector I was showing you before, but let's say you're coming in to San Antonio. This is San Antonio approach, and you're trucking right at these big cumulus puffy clouds. And
Okay.
how would you tell the controller that you'd like to do, not go into those?
Okay, it must be something like Aerolast is 321. In 10 miles ahead, we have weather. Request another vector for the approach.
LS is 321, Roger. Would you like to start an early turn, or do you want to go to the right or to the left?
Okay, if it's possible, we'd like a turn to the right, please.
LS is 321, Roger. Turn right, heading of 320, a vector to rejoin the downwind.
Roger, heading 320 vector to rejoin downwind, Viva 321. So 320.
So what he'll do is he'll truck you up here, and he might leave you on something, and this would be way wide, and you might tell him when you pass this last cloud. Let's just practice that. So he's going to leave you that way, but you might tell him, Viva 321. We can accept a turn to final, something like that, or we can start a left turn, just something like that. So he'll know, because you got to. What's going to happen? He's counting on a pilot report for this because the radar doesn't show him. And what he'll do is, like, all the next airplanes that come in, he'll start doing the same thing. He'll start copying whatever you found acceptable, because
Yes.
we know that you can't always see these things. Let's see, how do you make this thing move? Yeah, there we go. These are so hard to turn. I'm not even going to mess with it. So go ahead and tell me that you like to start your base, or we could start a turn to the left, something like that phraseology.
Okay, Aerolast is 321. If able, we can turn to final.
Airlines is 321, Roger. Turn left, heading 240 vector base. Descend and maintain 2000.
Roger that, 3000, and heading 240 vector for base, Viva 321.
Viva 321, pilot's discretion, descend and maintain 2000.
At pilot's discretion, 2000, Viva 321. 2000.
Just move him along so we're not here all day.
Okay.
You got it all put in, so get to about that point probably. Viva 321, turn left, heading 170, maintain 1500 till established localizer, clear the ILS, runway 14. I think
Roger that, heading 170, descend and maintain 1500 until established on the localizer, clear for the ILS, runway 4, Aerolast, Viva 321. Okay. See.
We'll just bring you on in, get you started. And what you would normally do is you start reducing. The controller probably would have reduced you to 170 on the base turn, or sometimes even on the downwind. Depends on the sequence.
Okay,
But
perfect.
this is just a simulator, so I'm not a particularly good one. So, we'll get you headed that way. And it looks like the track is about a 130, 125, 130, something like that. I guess 127 technically is what it probably should be.
Okay.
Anyway, if we got you this close, it looks like actually it's more like 132. These maps don't always align with what the simulator does. That's a big problem we have with this, that they're not on perfect alignment. But what we'll
Yeah.
do is we'll come down to the tower part, and let's go to that real quick. Let me pause it, and let me take a wild guess and see if it's D. Okay, it's 4. All right, you should be out here somewhere. There you are. Go ahead and put your speed down to like 130.
Okay.
Oops, I got to change the name again. That's not automatic. It should be. I'm going to give you just a little more space for what we're going to do. All right. So check in with San Antonio Tower.
Okay. Viva 321 San Antonio Tower. Hello. Final 5 miles.
Viva 321 San Antonio Tower, Roger. 13 right, clear to land. The wind is 140 at 7.
Roger that. Clear to land. Runway 13 right. Viva 321.
All right. All right. We got something exciting going on now. I know, it's just silly. We got different stuff we can put on there. Viva 321 San Antonio Tower. We got a cow on the runway. I'll be unable 13 right. Can you accept runway 13 left visually?
Unable to accept runway 13 left due to performance. Request vector if able, runway 22.
Viva 321, Roger. Expect a visual approach runway 22. Fly heading a 090, maintain 1,500. Report runway 22 inside.
Roger that. Heading 090, visual approach runway 22. Descend and maintain 1,500 and will report runway inside.
So we'll just take you over here. That's just an example. Lots of times we have at least like you'll probably fly into Nashville at one point because I think they do that. If we have a bird strike on the runway, the airport authority has set down the rules that runway is, if somebody reports striking a bird, that runway is closed. And so we have to send people around, and it might just be a little tiny bird on the runway that's just a couple feathers left, but they had that rule, so it was I guess dumb might be the best way to put it. It was it wasn't really smart. So you come in there, and we know the winds are still within performance. Still reads, you'd call the field in sight. So let you go and do that. So go ahead and call 22 in sight.
Okay. RLS is 321, runway 22 inside.
RLS is 321. Roger. Runway 22 cleared visual approach. Runway 22 cleared to land. Wind 130 at 4.
Roger that. Clear visual approach runway 22 and clear to land runway 22. RLS is 321. Okay.
So you could we see our field elevation here just to practice the thing. You probably want to maybe even take a little bit of a downwind or whatever you normally do, because you got to change the heading a little bit to come into here. Looks like our elevation here is actually 786. So I probably gave you a little bit lower altitude than it would be normal. You probably would have had 2,000. That's okay. It's my fault. You can come back in here like that and probably come in on join the base and land. But if you want to play with the simulator, change the headings on it, you can.
Let me check. Probably.
So just, we'll do a little practice in the simulator. And after that, if you got any questions, let me know. We'll talk about anything you want to, or if you want to, you got something you need to go do. It's we're out of material for what all they gave us.
Okay, got it. I think I understood everything. The class
Okay.
Was cool. I
Right.
felt, um, I'd like to say in green arcs, like that means for me that I understood everything.
Okay.
And super cool. I only have, it's not a question, it's more like only a commentary. It's in Spanish to say most, could, may, we only have one word, so it's kind of difficult to us, like not understand but use, because the English speakers use that words as a probability, isn't it? Most is like a certain, like
Right.
90. May, it's like 50-50.
Good. Yes, very good.
Yeah, in Spanish we only have one word for that.
Okay.
We assume the probability.
All right.
So for all the topics, I think that I get more confused with in class 4. Yeah, oh, the last class, I think it's 4, for that reason, but it's fine. I only need a little practice about that.
Okay. Well, excellent. It's like permission basically is what would probably what is the Spanish for may and could?
In Spanish, it's debería o debe.
Okay, yeah, I remember that
But
vague.
it's only one word.
Right. The best way to think of it is if you're saying must, there's like a mandatory. Maybe it's a different Spanish word. It should have been substituted for it. Like it's almost forbidden for me to continue this. I cannot.
Okay.
So that's all I can really. It's tough. I know my wife speaks French, and some of the words in French, when I try to like look them up, they don't make any sense at all in English because they like one word might mean 7 or 8 things.
Yes, that's right.
So it's like I tried to learn a little bit, but it's I'm not very good. So. Well, it's been a pleasure. Any other questions you got? I'll be here for a little bit, or if you want to sign off and continue, it's up to you. I'm here for you. But if you're done, I can just let you go.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm done.
Okay.
I'm going to sign off.
All right.
But thank you very much. See you around the next class.
It's been a pleasure. When do you get to start flying for into the U.S. for real? Is that you got a few more weeks or a few more months?
I think I have a flight at the middle of March.
Oh, so real soon.
So real soon. Well, I have flown to US, but in the previous companies.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So it's not new to you.
San Antonio, it's not new, but the destinations in Viva are going to be new for me.
Right. There'll be
I've been in Nashville, in Boston, in JFK. So I think I couldn't, I will not have problem with that.
No,
I
it's like JFK can be pretty busy. Boston can be pretty busy. Nashville, not as much. But fortunately, you'll be, I guess, right seat first, so you'll get this a couple of times in there for you'll get used to the airport after you'll learn something probably each time you come in.
yes,
So,
yes, that's right.
all right, well, excellent.
Okay,
Have a great day.
thank you. Same to
Thank you.
you. Thank you very much. Really
Bye bye.
appreciate it. Bye bye.